What I basically want to talk about today is something that I know a lot of people are struggling with, that I myself was also struggling with, and that's of course related to trading psychology. I've kind of realized that most people assume being able to do what I do right now, that I suddenly just got here, and that it was all just overnight, that I never struggled or never had any issues when it comes to trading or psychology, but honestly, that couldn't be further from the truth. Any person that you might see or look up to in the trading space, you see their progress has been good and maybe they're successful now. It wasn't always like that. And I'm doing this just to clarify for myself so that you know that whatever it is you're going through right now in terms of psychology, your struggles, chances are I've been through the exact same thing. I personally was also, for a long time, struggling with these things. Even though it might look like now I'm like I have no emotions or whatever, but I want you to realize to get to that point, you have to get through a lot of stages in your trading journey where you feel like it's never gonna end and you're just stuck in this loop. And that's the hard part when it comes to trading, is that it's not just about finding out what your model is, what your technical ability is in terms of analysis. It's not just about that. Like 90% is how you react. It's your psychology. It's funny because people tell me that they just assumed I never went through any of these things because I am where I am right now. I was the worst. I'm telling you, my psychology was off. I had to really work through figuring out myself and realizing who I was before I could even start performing on the charts. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, and I know for a fact that I made as well, is overtrading. Now, what do I mean by overtrading? It's not just about taking a lot of trades. Imagine this, you're going on the charts one day, you're taking a trade, you think everything is aligned, everything is good, and then you get stopped out. It's a loss. Now, instead of walking away from that loss, instead of just taking a step back, being like, okay, something is off, I need to reevaluate, what happens is you get tunnel vision. Everything just kind of narrows in, right? So instead of accepting that loss, what happens? Well, you want to take another trade. But this time, you want to double the leverage or triple the leverage because you think you have to make it back. So what goes through your mind in that moment is, oh, I was just too early, right? Now the move's actually going to happen. I see we have another sweep of the lows or the highs, and now it's going to go in my direction, just like I planned. And so you enter, this time being 3 times as confident as you were for some reason, and what happens? You take another loss. But this time you just made it 3 times worse. So that small little loss has now turned into potentially even blowing your entire account. And instead of accepting that, even at the second time you take that loss, you take the second loss, what happens in your mind in that moment is that you stop caring. Because I know most of you are probably trading prop firms, and so maybe you're on that eval and you're thinking, you know what, now I'm just so down on the account that the only thing for me left to do is just to risk it all or nothing. And so you see how you went from having a neutral account to taking that small loss, taking an even bigger loss, and then just completely blowing the account because you just stopped caring at a certain point. This exact repeat, this circle, I've been through it many times. Like when I started, my thought process was so rushed. I would literally get into trades, I would take a loss, and I would just be hungry. I would just be like, okay, let me just get in. I know I was right. I'm still right. I'm just gonna make it back 3 times now. And then you just blow another account. And then you sit there and you just go like, what did I just do? Why did I just blow the account? How? And you feel so stupid. Like literally sitting there and you're like, why didn't I just take that small loss and then come back tomorrow when there might be another opportunity? Because I realized I just made maybe a small mistake or my draw on liquidity was wrong. Instead, what happens? Well, you just blew another account. And then you're back to zero, back to scratch. If you don't handle this issue right away, you're never going to be consistent. You have to be like, okay, I have to figure out how I react when I take a loss, and I have to handle it right away. Honestly, overcoming that for me was a big challenge. Especially if you get to that stage of where you don't care and you just keep pressing the button. It's a dangerous place to be, honestly. So how do you actually handle this issue? Because it's pretty complex, right? And it's something that happens. It's like an evil circle. If you don't break out of that circle, it's just going to keep going. Infinite, right? So the number one thing you have to realize is that you have to be okay with taking a loss. Taking a loss does not mean you're a bad trader. It doesn't mean the end of the world. It just means that either you were wrong or you made a mistake. And the faster you can accept that, the better. So what I used to do, after taking a loss, I would literally just tell myself, okay, hands off, no clicking any buttons, just gonna take a step back. Like, I would force myself to literally just disconnect, right? Before I get trapped into that tunnel vision, I'll just like snap out of it. Just realize, okay, I just took a loss. Let me take a second. Think about this. So your mind doesn't just turn off, all right? So this allows me time to reflect on what just happened. In most cases, I would realize, okay, my draw on liquidity is wrong. I made a mistake. The best decision for me right now is just to journal what just happened and just move on. There's going to be a new day tomorrow, a new week next week. So limiting myself, you know, let's say 1 loss per session. And I would force myself to follow that rule by literally just stepping back, being like, hey, I was wrong. It is what it is. Now let me go into my journal, put down exactly why I was wrong, what happened, what I was thinking, and go from there. Because at that point, you learn to not only control yourself, but you learn to also know yourself so that these things don't just keep repeating. Because then you're going to go into the next day and you're going to be like, okay, I remember what happened yesterday. Or the next week, I remember what happened last week. I'm not going to make that same mistake because I know myself so well. Now, the second thing, we of course have fear of missing out, right? Now, where does that even come from? What causes you to feel that need of constantly being in all the trades that you're seeing on social media, or you're seeing like other people are catching trades that you aren't, and you start feeling like you have to be in every single move? Well, the number one thing is that you don't have confidence in your own model, because you need to be so confident that regardless of whatever trades you see other people are taking, you simply don't care. Why? Because you know that tomorrow another setup is going to present itself. It's that simple. I used to feel that I had to be in every single trade, every single day, and that feeling would essentially translate into my trades, that when I was looking for those trades in the moment, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, oh, but this is probably a setup that someone else is taking right now. I have to get in. Or when you're seeing price run away from you, you're also thinking like, oh, damn, somebody else is in this trade. I need to get in. And then you end up just buying or selling as price is already gone. So instead of waiting patiently for your setup and trusting in the fact that you're going to see multiple setups tomorrow, next week, whatever, you're chasing that move. Maybe you're seeing price move in your anticipated direction and you think, oh, I have to get in, and then you just end up buying, and what does price do? Price comes back down, takes you out, and then decides to move. You have to remember that price is literally designed to make you think in this way and to fall for these traps. It's playing with your mind. So what I want you to understand when it comes to FOMO is, number one, don't care about what everyone else is doing. All right, stop comparing yourself to people on social media. Trust in your own setup that it will show up eventually. So you don't have to be in every single move, regardless of whatever you see people are posting. And the second part of FOMO is chasing price. Don't think that you have to get into the move. Just because you see it moving 20 points in your direction, don't try to chase it. Wait for price to come back to where you were supposed to enter, or if it doesn't, then fine, you missed out on the move. And this comes back to confidence once again. You have to be okay with the fact that you didn't get in on that trade, because you know there's going to be another setup. And for me, what really helped was just having confidence in my own model. I was testing it so much that I knew that if I didn't catch one today, okay, there's going to be another setup in a day or two or next week. And you start framing that, you start seeing that in your head, like, I don't care if I missed out today, because I know myself, I know exactly what I'm looking for. So that confidence translates. You don't care about missing out. So when you start to realize that, and you start to put away all those thoughts you have that you have to be in that move, or you don't have to do anything. Just be objective with your thinking. There's going to be other setups. The market runs day in, day out. It's always doing the same thing. And so your setup is going to appear. If it doesn't appear tomorrow, maybe the day after that, or the week after that, right? Point is that you don't force it. Stay true to your discipline. Focus on executing your rules, your model, and then the rest will come. It will just come naturally. You don't force it, you don't chase price. Simply stick to what you're supposed to do, and I'm telling you that peace of mind is slowly going to come. Now the third one, rushing the process. You have to realize you have to submit to time. Trading is probably one of the most difficult skills that you can learn. So do you think that's going to happen overnight? Do you think it's going to happen within a few weeks, a few months? For some people, it might take a few months. For some, it might take a few years. The point is that you focus on submitting to time. And what I mean by that is that you accept the fact that I'm learning a very difficult thing. It's going to take time to master. But once I do, I'll reap the rewards of the time I put in. Trading is a sort of skill that will pay off with time. I don't want you to feel like you have to rush it to get to a point maybe you're seeing someone else is at and you want to compare yourself to them. Think about how long it took for that person to get to where they are now. You have to realize it takes a different amount of time depending on each person, right? Nobody's the same. It might take longer for you, it might take shorter for you. It's all relative to how you are and how you pick up on things. We're not just going to say, oh yeah, it's going to take you 2 months, that's it. No, it might take you 6. It might take you a year. So what if it does? In the end, you're going to get there. But that's the thing. Most people, they quit before they get there. So what happens is that they set unrealistic expectations, thinking they're going to be profitable in a few months or make back whatever money they invested into the markets already. And when they don't reach that, when that doesn't happen, what do? They quit. But that's the difference. The people who made it, the people who are already there, they just didn't quit. That's the difference. The statistic of all the traders that fail, lose, all of them go into that quitting category. Because they didn't see it through, they didn't submit to time, and realize that this is a skill that is very hard to learn, and it's going to take time. So for me as well, I had to realize that instead of focusing on how long I've got left to go, I'm going to focus on how far I've already come. And by doing that, I'm able to see the progress each month, each week, each day. And as long as you keep seeing that progress, you see yourself improving, you're getting that much closer to that goal. Before you know it, you're going to be exactly where you want to be. And it's that simple. Just submitting to time, no matter how long it takes. If you just continue at it and you start improving, I'm telling you, you're going to get there. Just don't quit. Please don't quit. Don't care what anyone else says. Don't care what they say about trading or that you're going to be wasting money, wasting time. Why would you listen to those people? Why would you listen to someone who hasn't been through what you've been through? Instead, listen to someone who's already been through whatever phase you're in. Someone who's where you want to be has already been through that. So instead, focus on how is this person able to overcome this? And what do I have to focus on to also get there? And so I'm telling you, if you focus on the things I've laid out in this video, you're going to start trusting in yourself. And over time, you just have to know it's going to be okay. You just have to keep putting in the effort, putting in the time, and you start to observe yourself from an outside perspective. It will come, guys. It will. What you're going through, you're not going through it alone. A lot of people have been there. To get to a certain point, this is stuff you have to go through. But the difference is, if you quit, then you know for a fact that all those fears were true. But if you don't quit, who knows how far you're going to go. With that being said, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.